Welcome to Two Witness Teaching Program. Two Witness, a Bible teaching program to change and transform people. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Let's dive into it.
So chapter 22, the civil law continues, more ordinances to live by. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up or breaking in, and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. For he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. And so this is if he's doing it in daylight. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. Verse 5, If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the best of his own field, and of the best of his own vineyard, shall he make restitution. If a fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindleth the fire shall surely make restitution. Verse 7, If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges, to see whether he has put his hand to his neighbor's goods. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of the Lord be between them both, that he hath not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. Verse 12, And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution for the owner. If it be torn to pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good or make restitution for that which was torn. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be a hired thing, it came for his hire. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. He must. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So we have a death penalty here for anyone doing anything supernatural apart from God. He that sacrifices unto any god, save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. 21, Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. 25, If thou lend money to any of my people of Israel that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury or interest. If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, thou shalt deliver it unto him by that the sun goeth down, by nightfall. For that is his covering only, it is his raiment for his skin. Wherein shall he sleep? And it shall come to pass when he cries unto me that I will hear, for I am gracious. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy sons, thou shalt give unto me. They're sanctified unto the Lord. Likewise shalt thou do with thine oxen and with thy sheep, 7 days it shall be with his dam or his mother. On the 8th day thou shalt give it to me, and ye shall be holy men unto me. Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs.
All right, chapter 23. Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness, or perjury. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Verse 3, neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. Verse 4, if thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldst forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. It doesn't matter what you feel like. You don't really like that particular neighbor. You're going to help him. You see that you can do something good. You're going to step in and do it for him. Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Verse 7, keep thee far from false matter, and the innocent and the righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. Verse 8 is about bribes. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise and perverteth the words of the righteous. Don't act unfairly to foreigners, verse 9. Also thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Let's go down to verse 13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, or that means to observe, to keep, and to do. Keep those always in your memory, and you're going to act based upon these things. And make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Now he's going to talk about Passover once again. He's going to call that Feast 1, but he's going to introduce Feast 2 and Feast 3, which is harvest and ingathering. Verse 14, 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread, which is Passover week. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib, for in it thou camest out of Egypt, and none shall appear empty before me, or without an offering. The offering that I told you to give to me, everyone do it. And the feast of harvest, this is the second feast, which thou hast sown in the field. So this is the first fruits of your harvest. There's going to be another feast, another time to observe this festival to me. And the feast of ingathering, which is at the end of the year, the end of the harvest, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. So 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Lord God in these feasts. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice without unleavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until morning. The first of the firstfruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. The end of verse 19, thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. Verse 20, behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. So God's going to be in the form of a messenger, he says here, an angel. Be with them, before them, obey his voice, and provoke him not, as they have been provoking God all along. For he will not pardon your transgressions. You will be judged for your sins. For my name is in him. I'm leading through him and by him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice, and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. Good moral government verse here. Obey me, and all will be well with you. For my angels shall go before thee, and bring thee into the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites. I always want to say parasites there. That's not good. And the Canaanites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless thy bread and water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Verse 26, there shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. And the number of thy days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come. And I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee. Their backs is to run away. Verse 28, and I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite and the Canaanite and the Hittite from before thee. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, or the first year, not all at once, so that all the land becomes desolate, but I'm going to do it a little bit at a time, and that the beast of the field won't multiply against thee. But I'm going to do it, verse 30, little by little, so kind of farm by farm, city by city, so that you take it over in the best condition that it was. It's not going to be a house that wasn't lived in for a year. So you're going to move in the next day, and it's going to, be food on the table, kind of, and it's going to be all cleaned up and nice. So that's how God's treating them. This is wonderful. I'll bring you in little by little, give it over to you as you're ready to take it from me, until thou be increased and inherit the land. 31, and I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of the Philistines, which is the Mediterranean, and from the desert unto the river, and I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare, a scandal, fatal death trap unto thee.
Chapter 24. And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come up nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, All the words which the Lord hath said, we will do. So Moses was meeting with God. He comes down, he relays everything to the people, and they say they'll do it. But God instructed him to come back with some more people. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings, and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half the blood, and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant. This is the book where he just wrote down all the ordinances the Lord had just given him. He took the book of the covenant, and he read in the audience of the people. And they said, All that the Lord hath said we will do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you, concerning all these words. So this was no light matter for them to say, okay, we'll do it. Blood was shed, and the covenant was sealed with that blood. Then went Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the God of Israel. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were, the body of heaven in his clearness. Verse 11, And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. And I believe this is part of that. Anyone who sees God would be put to death. He didn't lay his hand on them because the people did not see him directly. And also they saw God and did eat and drink. And the Lord said unto Moses, Come up to me into the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, And Moses went up into the mount of God. And he said unto the elders, Tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. So he took Joshua with him to a certain point, but then he alone approached God. And the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights.
Chapter 25. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take up my offering. Verse 3, take up the offering of gold and silver and brass, and blue and purple and scarlet, and fine linen and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and badger skins, shittim wood, oil for light, spices for anointing oil, and sweet incense, onyx stones and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. Now the ephod was a girdle that hung from the neck and covered both the front and the back, and you could think of it like a long vest. It had a hole in the middle, and you put it over, and it'd cover the front, cover the back, and it would tie. So there's going to be stones in that, onyx stones in the ephod, and in the breastplate there'll be precious stones too. Verse 8, And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make it. Okay, now here's the first item, kind of the first piece of furniture he's going to talk about that goes into the tabernacle. They shall make an ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length of it thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the height thereof. And you're going to overlay it with pure gold, within and without thou shalt overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. And now this is going to have rings in it, because it's going to be carried. And Wendy pointed this out to me as we were studying. Said, you notice how everything has rings on it? Because they're going to pick it up and they're going to move. None of this stuff is going to stay stationary. It's got to be able to move, because they're going to follow after God. The tabernacle is going to go after God, and so all the furniture has to be able to be moved easily, and the way God prescribes it to be moved. And so they have rings on the corners of it, and thou shalt make staves of shittim wood and overlay them with gold, and they're going to go through the rings so that they can bear the ark on the shoulders of the people carrying it. And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I give thee. And we know 3 things that went into there. The tables of stone that God received from, or Moses received from God, written by the hand of God, Aaron's rod, and a pot of manna that was there to remind the people of what God had done for them. So those are all going into this ark of testimony or witness as to what God had done for them in the past. Verse 17, And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold, of beaten work shalt thou make them, in the 2 ends of the mercy seat. And make 1 cherub on one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall ye make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. All right. Let's see. So they look at each other, facing each other, these figures of cherubims. Verse 21, And thou shalt put the mercy seat above the ark, And in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony, and all things which I will give thee in the commandment of the children of Israel. Verse 23, we see another piece of furniture. Thou shalt make a table, again of this shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And this table, you're going to overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. And this is the table that we talk about for showbread. 25, thou shalt make unto it a border of a handbreadth round about. Thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. Okay, and it will have rings of gold. Why? Because you're going to have to move it. And it's going to be, staves will go into it so you can bear the table. Okay, verse 29. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, the spoons thereof, and the covers thereof, and the bowls thereof, to cover withal. Of pure gold shalt thou make them. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me alway. And showbread means face bread, or face set before the, or bread set before the face of God. Showbread. Verse 31, we have another piece of furniture, the candlestick. A candlestick that's made out of the pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. And we get a description, have a shaft and branches and bowls and knops and flowers. If you want to look along in your handouts, you should have pictures of all these items, and that will help, I think, to see what they look like. 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it. There's one going up in the middle, but then 3 on each side, so you got 7 candles, 6 branches. Let's see. Let's go down to verse 37. Thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, that they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. And the tongs thereof and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was shown thee in the mount. So God told Moses how to do it exactly, expects Moses to get the people to make it exactly this way. And we're going to find out why, because all of this, God has a plan, he has symbolism that this has to match into the future. And when we study that, when we look back and say, oh, I see what each symbol was meant to be for us in the church age, then we'll see why God was so insistent on doing it exactly this way. Mm-hmm.
Why don't we look at your outlines, and you'll see artist renderings of these items. We don't have the Ark of the Covenant. We don't have the table of showbread. So artists draw it according to how they interpret the description of it. So they're not in the order in your outlines of how we just read it. But for instance, the Ark of the Covenant, you'll see it's basically a box. It's a big chest. And it's overlaid with gold, and Brian already told you what was in there. But it was symbolic of where God would come and meet with the people. Well, it really is where he came. The mercy seat was the lid of it, and the cherubim who faced each other and their wings overspread and touched each other. Again, we'll cover that symbolism later. But we know from other Old Testament readings that the ark was the centerpiece, because if you didn't have the ark, God was not with you. It was the ark they carried into battle first. It was the ark that the enemies tried to steal from them. So it was very important to their center of worship. The golden candlestick, if you read the instructions that God gave Moses, it talks about knobs and almonds and flowers, and this is actually a rendering of that. But if you look in history, and there might even be a picture of it in Haley's handbook, but there are some carvings found, Roman carvings, called the Arch of Titus, where they actually show the pieces from the temple, and they have a carving of the candlestick, and it shows it very similarly to this, the way that the flowers and the knops and the lamps and everything are. Now, typically, we think of a menorah, and we think that all 7 of them would be at the same height, right? So maybe they were, maybe they weren't, we're not sure, but that's just a way for you to picture what it is God was asking them to build. And I believe there's the table of showbread, and we're going to get into more details about the bread and how it was stacked and what they did with it and why. But you can see the staves, the poles that go through everything. Partly so it would be mobile, and partly so it wouldn't be touched. So they could easily pick things up and move them without having to handle them. I think that's all we've covered so far. So God's giving a pattern of all the furniture, the vessels, everything to go into the tabernacle that Moses and the people will build for him. So let's go to chapter 26. And he's going to leave the instructions for the furniture right now and move on to the actual building of the tabernacle and how they're going to build it. It can't be anything too permanent or too hard to pack up and move. And so we're going to see it's built basically of curtains hung on a frame. So verse 1, moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. And he goes on to say how many curtains there should be, how wide they should be, how long they should be. And you'll see a cubit is the standard length of measure. And if you're curious, a cubit was the length between a man's elbow and the tip of his finger. And more standardly, it was 17.5 inches. So if you just want to get an idea in your mind of how big they're building these things, 17.5 inches. So they're building loops at the top of the curtains. They're building tacks so that they can attach them together. So they're not only using fine linen, they're also using goat's hair. Down verses 9 and 10, all the loops, all of the couplings, it's very detailed, and so it's very interesting to read. But it also seems to repeat a lot, so we just want to hit the high points. He starts to explain how they're going to hang this side or that side. Verse 14, ram skins, badger skins, and all these will make the tabernacle, the curtains and the skins. In verse 15, thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood standing up. And shittim wood is wood from the acacia tree or the thorn tree, which is just so common in Africa. It's a very solid, sturdy wood. If we keep moving on, he's talking about sockets, he's talking about tenons, very specifically how it will be assembled. And you actually have pictures also in your outlines of what those little sockets look like and how the boards were assembled together. Verse 26, thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side, 5 for the other side. And so it's between the boards and the bars that everything is going to be structured so that the curtains can hang, so that the skins can be attached. In verse 31, this is another very important part of the tabernacle. This is where they build the veil. Thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen of cunning work, with cherubims shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it on 4 pillars of shittim wood, overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. And more importantly than how it's built is where are they going to hang it. Verse 33, thou shalt hang up the veil under the tacks, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. I think I'm going to do the drawing. All right, I have a drawing on the board of the basic outline of the tabernacle. And I want to fill in now that we're getting to some of these terms so that you can see exactly where they were.
Is there a verse that tells us what the testimonies, the three things are?
Hebrews, the Ark of the Testimony, you'll see if you read throughout the wandering in the wilderness what they put into the Ark of the Testimony. But there's a verse in Hebrews where he actually quotes it. Brian, I'll look for it. Where he refers back to what is in there. Now you also have a drawing. If you want to look, I think it's the first page, that shows the tabernacle and what it would look like from a sky view. Mine are all mixed up now. So if you're looking down upon it, you'd be able to see all the curtains and how it's held up by the frame of wood. The curtains are hanging down, and you see there are ropes that are supporting it. The building inside there is the actual tabernacle itself, where all of this furniture and these pieces were being used. And there's also a drawing that you can fill in. It's not labeled at all, so you can fill that in as we go if you'd like, or you can draw your own. So overall, this is the tabernacle. And so far, what we've talked about is what? First, we talked about the Ark of the Covenant. And my drawing is small, but we'll just draw some little lines. Okay, the Ark was the piece of furniture that was by itself. Here's the veil, behind the veil. Try that again. Okay, these are the walls, the curtains, all around the tabernacle. This is what's called the most holy place, the holy place, sorry. I hate to stand in front of it, but we have this half of the room being called the holy place. Then there's a veil dividing that from the other half of the room called the most holy place. I hope that you can see this.
That's what the ark is in the most holy.
The ark is in the most holy place, and it's divided from everything else by a veil. Okay, what was in the holy place? What else did we just talk about? The candlestick was on the south side, right here. The table of showbread was always on the north side. They always set up the tabernacle facing the same way whenever they moved. And I don't think we've gotten to this yet, but this is going to be the altar of incense. So this is where the priest came and did the service. And I don't want to give too much of it away because it's coming up. But the veil was very important because people couldn't just walk in on God. They couldn't walk in on the place where God dwelt, where God came to meet with his people. It was even forbidden to touch the ark. So this is just for you right now to help fill in your chart a little, and we're going to talk a lot more about it as we go. Now, verse 33, when he says to hang up the veil, bring in the ark of the testimony, and the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy place. 35, and thou shalt set the table without outside of the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. Okay, I got that right. And the table on the north side, would be the showbread. And thou shalt make a hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen wrought with needlework. And again, just more details about how all of this is going to be enclosed with the different skins and linens and what colors and types of metal to use. So bear with us. Little by little, we're going to start building this picture of the tabernacle, what it looked like, and why God designed it to be the way he did.
Okay. Chapter 27. We have another altar, an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits broad. Altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. This is the altar of burnt offering. You probably have a picture of that as well. And you shall make horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horn shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. You can see the horns on the corners of the altar. And you're going to make pans to receive ashes, and shovels, and basins, and flesh hooks, and fire pans. All the vessels thereof shall be made of brass, and this is where the burnt offering is going to be made, so that's why it needs to be brass, and that's why you need to have to deal with the ashes and stuff, and there'll be a grate there. Verse 4, and thou shalt make for it a grate of network of brass, and upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the corners thereof. So this needs to be moved as well. All right, let's keep moving on. Verse 7, and the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount, so shalt thou make it. Verse 9, we have the court design for the tabernacle, which is everything within the big rectangle here.
Let's do this. Here's the altar. This is the court.
Okay. Verse 9, thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle. For the south side, southward, there shall be hangings for the court of fine twined linen of 100 cubits long for one side. And speaks of pillars, and I don't know as we have to go into the details here too much. The gate of the court in verse 16. The length of the court, verse 18. Let's go right to verse 20. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring the pure oil, olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. The lamp that's the candlestick in the holy place, that's going to be always burning. And in the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations on behalf of the children of Israel.
So here's where we see that specifically it will be Aaron and his sons and their sons that they will perform this office unto the Lord within the tabernacle. So in chapter 28, verse 1, and take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. And we're going to see this again, that the garments of the priest were made for glory and for beauty. And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. We're going to see this again. All that are wise-hearted are going to come together, and God is going to empower them and equip them to build and to weave and to carve and to craft out of the fine gold and brass and silver, all that God is giving them this pattern for, all that are wise-hearted. So here we have someone wise-hearted that's going to craft the clothes for the priest. Verse 4, and these are the garments which they shall make. a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, or embroidered, we would think of, a mitre, or it's a head covering more like a turban, a girdle or a belt, and they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister to me in the priest's office. And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen, and they shall make the ephod. Now there's a picture here, shows the altar with the high priest, and we have an artist's interpretation of the description here in Exodus 28. And we see that he's got kind of a turban on his head. He's wearing a girdle. He's got the ephod strapped to his chest. And we're going to read more of the details of what this is like and what it means. Verse 7, still talking about the ephod. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces joined at 2 edges. Verse 8, the curious girdle of the ephod, which is upon it, shall be of the same. And this word curious comes up again in the description. It means it's detailed, intricate, and skillfully made. So it's not curious as in very strange and everyone wonders about it. Curious in that it's very intricate. Verse 9, thou shalt take 2 onyx stones and grave on them the names of the children of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone, and the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone, according to their birth. With the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet, thou shalt engrave the 2 stones with the names of the children of Israel. Thou shalt make them to be set in ouches of gold, and that would be like a setting, like you would think of setting a ring. You would have prongs or something that would hold it so that it wouldn't fall out. So we have him wearing, I believe it says 1 on each shoulder, a stone that has 6 of the names of the tribes of Israel and the other 6 on his other shoulder. Verse 12, here it is, he shall put them on the shoulders of the ephod for stones of a memorial unto the children of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord upon his 2 shoulders for a memorial. And thou shalt make ouches of gold, or settings, and 2 chains of pure gold. At the ends of wreathen work shalt thou make them, and fasten the wreathen chains to the ouches. So very detailed descriptions about how they were to craft all of these items that the priest would wear as part of his garments. Verse 15, thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work after the work of the ephod. We get more descriptions here. Verse 17, thou shalt set it in settings of stones. And you can see he's got this little patchwork quilt of 12 stones upon the breastplate. And they're each sort of rectangular, and they're set in a certain order. And we're going to see that they're each made of a different stone. Verse 17, the first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row. The second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row, a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in their enclosings. And the stone shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Every one with his name shall they be, according to the 12 tribes. Who did God make his covenant with? Well, with Abraham, with Isaac, with Jacob, or Israel, which by inference is the 12 tribes. So he's setting the 12 tribes upon the priest's shoulder. He's putting them upon the breastplate of judgment. And it's for a memorial, it says. God is not forgetting the covenant he made with the 12 tribes, and he is incorporating it into all the different parts of the service of the priest. 22, this is how the chains should be made to fasten it together. More about the curious girdle of the ephod. Verse 29, Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goes in unto the Lord for a memorial before the Lord continually. So now, more about this breastplate. Verse 30, thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goes in before the Lord. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. So it was almost like a little pouch or a pocket that was made that the Urim and the Thummim would be in, and it would hang directly over Aaron's heart. Now, it's interesting because it wasn't long after this, we won't get too much further in the Old Testament, and we'll find that through lack of service in the tabernacle, through lack of service to God, the Urim and the Thummim were basically lost, and they didn't even really remember what it was or what it looked like, or so even today we don't have more details on it because they themselves lost it and neglected it. But Urim, just the word itself, means light, and the Thummim means perfect. So we have this perfect light, or this full perfect illumination of God, I believe, upon the high priest to be able to judge the people rightly. It was the breastplate of judgment. And it says that Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. So this was no light matter to be the high priest in the tabernacle of God. We're going to see language that shows that it was Aaron who would bear the iniquity of the people. Not that he would be responsible for their sins, but he had to be sure that he was doing everything just as it was prescribed ceremonially by the Lord, or it would cost him his life, or it would cost the life of the people. So it was a very serious matter, as I said, to be the high priest. So verse 31, he explains the robe, how it would have a hole for his head. It would cover his neck, just as you would have a coat of mail, like chain link armor, to defend your neck and your shoulders and your chest. It would be on him like that. It would cover him like that. Verse 33, beneath upon the hem of it, thou shalt make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet round about the hem, and bells of gold between them round about. And I think we've all heard about the bells on the bottom of the priest's robe. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, about the hem of the robe round about. So everywhere he walked, when he was wearing the garments of the high priest, when he did the service of the high priest, he would be jingling as he walked around. 35, and it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goes in unto the holy place before the Lord, and when he cometh out, that he die not. And this is the language that we see when God is giving very specific instructions about what he is to do and how, that he die not. If he neglects one small duty or one small garment or one small act of consecrating himself before he does this act of worship before the Lord, it would cost him his life or the lives of the people. Verse 36, we see it's going to describe a little bit more about the turban or hat that's on his head. Thou shalt make a plate of pure gold and grave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, holiness unto the Lord. And thou shalt put it on blue lace, that it may be upon the mitre, on the forefront of the mitre it shall be. So right across the front of his hat it says, holiness to the Lord. It shall be upon Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things, which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall be always upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. More about his embroidered coat. Verse 40, a minor description of what Aaron's sons, the other priests, would be wearing, not quite as fancy as the high priest. They'll have coats and girdles and bonnets, which would be more like a little skull cap. And thou shalt make them for glory and for beauty. And you shall put them upon Aaron thy brother and his sons with him, and shall anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And this is interesting, verse 42. Thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. They had to wear underpants. From the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach. And they shall be upon Aaron and his sons when they come into the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near to the altar to minister to the holy place, that they bear not iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him and his seed after him.
All right. Maybe I'll just touch on the Urim and the Thummim one more time. You did understand that those things, these objects, whatever they were what the high priest consulted when he needed extra direction from God. He didn't understand something fully, what God would want. And the people were confused and they didn't know what they should do. So God gave the high priest a means of hearing from him. And whatever these objects were, some people speculate that they might have been a stone or something that somehow God spoke to because I guess maybe the rest of the things in the breastplate were stones. But no one knows what the objects were. But God spoke to the high priest through those objects called the Urim and the Thummim, which are now gone and nobody knows exactly what they were. Chapter 29, we see how God tells Moses to establish the priests in their office. This is the thing that you're going to do when you start the priesthood. This is how you're going to dedicate the priests to me. And this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them to hallow them, to consecrate or dedicate them unto me in the priest's office. Take one young bullock and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread and cakes unleavened, tempered with oil, and wafers unleavened, anointed with oil. Of wheaten flour shalt thou make them. And thou shalt put them into one basket, and bring them in one basket with the bullock and the 2 rams. And Aaron and his sons shall bring unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shalt wash them with water. And thou shalt take the garments and put upon Aaron the coat and the robe of the ephod, and the ephod and the breastplate, and gird him with the curious girdle of the ephod. And thou shalt put the mitre upon his head, and put the holy crown upon the mitre. All the things we just talked about. You're going to say, dress Aaron this way. This is what's going to happen when you do this dedication of Aaron and into his office. Verse 7, then shalt thou take the anointing oil, and pour it upon his head, and anoint him. And thou shalt bring his sons, and put coats upon them. And thou shalt gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put bonnets on them. And the priest's office shall be theirs for a perpetual statute. And thou shalt consecrate Aaron and his sons. And they're going to make a burnt offering. Thou shalt cause a bullock to be brought before the tabernacle of the congregation, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the bullock, and thou shalt kill the bullock before the Lord by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt take of the blood of the bullock, and put it upon the horns of the altar with thy finger, and pour all the blood beside the bottom of the altar. And thou shalt take all the fat that covered the inwards, and the caul that is above the liver, and take the 2 kidneys and the fat that is upon them, and burn them upon the altar. But the flesh of the bullock, and his skin and his dung, shalt thou burn with fire without the camp. It is a sin offering. So this is the first offering that they're doing in consecration of the priests, a sin offering for them. Verse 15, thou shalt also take 1 ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the ram. And thou shalt slay the ram, and thou shalt take his blood, and sprinkle it round about the altar. And thou shalt cut the ram in pieces, and wash the inwards of him and his legs, and put them unto his pieces and unto his head. And thou shalt burn the whole ram upon the altar. It is a burnt offering unto the Lord. It is sweet savor, an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And burnt offerings are wholly burnt up to make an atonement for the individual or the person that is being offered for. Burnt offering, entirely burnt up. Verse 19, and thou shalt take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the ram. And thou shalt kill the ram, and take of his blood, and put it upon the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and upon the tip of the right ear of his sons, and upon the thumb of the right hand, and upon the great toe of their right foot, and sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And I believe this is symbolizing the entire person or man is covered by this offering and this blood from the top of his head to the sole of his feet. You're not going to dunk them in blood, but each extremity you're going to touch with the blood of this offering. Verse 21, and thou shalt take of the blood that is upon the altar and of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it upon Aaron and upon his garments and upon his sons and upon the garments of his sons with him, and he shall be hallowed, and his garments and his sons' garments with them. All right. We're coming up on what they call a wave offering. Verse 24, and thou shalt put all the hands of Aaron and his hands of his sons, and shalt wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And that's a thanksgiving offering, a wave offering that you're offering to God, and you actually wave with your hands, wave it unto God. 25, and thou shalt receive them of their hands, and the burnt offering, burn them upon the altar for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor before the Lord. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord. So we got many offerings happening this when they're establishing the priesthood for Aaron and his sons. We have a heave offering in verse 27. And thou shalt sanctify the breast of the wave offering, and the shoulder of the heave offering which is waved, and which is heaved up, of the ram of the consecration, even that which is for Aaron, and that which is for his sons. Heave means gift, a gift offering to God. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons by statute forever for the children of Israel, and it is a heave offering, and it shall be a heave offering from the children of Israel of the sacrifice of their peace offerings, even their heave offering unto the Lord. All right. Let's see how much more.
Now, all of these offerings actually are explained more in detail in the book of Leviticus, so we'll cover them more then.
Yes, we'll even try to get you a list of what they are with definitions. But they're doing most all of them right in the beginning when they're establishing Aaron in the priesthood. They're going through and making all of these different types of offerings. Verse 40, the drink offering. Verse 41, the meat offering. Let's look at verse 42. This shall be a continual burnt offering throughout your generations at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord, where I will meet you to speak there unto thee. So there's a continual offering to the Lord every day, and we see that even in Hebrews where that's mentioned. I don't have the reference at the moment, but okay, verse 45, and I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will be their God, and they shall know that I am the Lord their God, that brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, that I may dwell among them. I am the Lord their God.